it's Cathy from inkingitupwithcathy.com, and I'm back today with another technique for you. I've seen a couple of other demonstrators doing this. I think Rich Atkins is the one video that I watched and kind of used my own stamp set from what he did. But this is called the Faux Bleach technique. So you use just water to lift the color off of your cardstock. And lift may not be the right word because a lot of it is actually going down into the cardstock. But if you're at all react to the smell of bleach, this is a way to get that lightness without having the smell of bleach around the house. And then on the inside, I just did this little technique with using an aqua painter and the inks. I wanted to show you also, when we did this in the class, I wanted to give them some options. And so this is the card done using the Petal Palette stamp set, this rose here, done in pinks and reds. And then this one is the Humming Along is done in blues. So if you're interested in doing this one, my colors were Flirty Flamingo, Melon Mambo, Lovely Lipstick, and Rich Razzleberry. And that's going from this side up and over to this side. For this card, it's Balmy Blue down here in the bottom, and then Pacific Point, and then Blueberry Bushel, and then finally Night of Navy. And you'll be working up toward the corner. What you want to do is emboss a piece of Whisper White cardstock that is 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches, and you want to emboss that with white embossing powder. So make sure you use your embossing buddy and then emboss your images. I'm going to put this down below here, and I'm going to pull out my sponges. And I have this container, and I just keep them all in here. Who is this by? Sistema. I don't know where I got that. Probably IKEA. So I just get one of the lighter ones, and we'll start with Balmy Blue. And I want to start in the bottom corner here and place some color. And I always stamp off to get, so that I don't get kind of a patchiness to it. Here, I'll show you on the back. If you touch to it like there, you get these dots, where if I touch here and then come over here, I don't get those dots, and I can get a smoother look than if I did that. So that's why I'm doing that. So that's probably enough, maybe a little bit darker right there. So we'll get down in there. And that's with Balmy Blue. And then I'll move on to Pacific Point. And again, I'm going to go along here. And what I want to do is make sure that I come back over that area where they meet and blend them a bit. And then I'm going to come back with the previous color. So now with the Balmy Blue, and go along that edge. And that really will help blend them together. See how blended they are now? You can hardly tell where one stops and the other color goes because they kind of transition. So I'm going to move that over, and I'm going to bring in the blueberry bushel. And I'll take one of my sponges and put that in here. And you can keep it as light as you'd like or get it as deep as you'd like. That's personal preference. And then again, along this line here, I'm going to come back with the Pacific point and work at that area there to get it blended back out. And you'll see how that now really blends again. Not pretty? So finally, we'll move the blueberry bushel over and get the Night of Navy. And with the Night of Navy, that's going to go up here in this corner. There we go. And again, I'll come back with the blueberry bushel and work that transition line. And there we go. So once I've got those all done, let me get these all out of the way so I don't put my hands in them. You'll want to get a paintbrush and some water and a paper towel, and you're going to start to work one of the areas, and you're going to lay down the water in it like this, and you can wipe it off. But as you can see, not a lot of water actually gets picked up, but this one has more as we're getting deeper. So I'll go back in and try and pick up that color as much as I can. Now, it doesn't look like a lot is happening yet, and it's not, but as it dries, it will lighten up even more, but you should be able to see a little bit of a change. Just like that. And you don't want to rub back and forth because you'll tear those fibers, and you definitely don't want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly do so you can see some of these other areas. And you can actually even take it and pick it up this way as opposed to just what's on the brush. So you can actually blot it away. Oops. And we'll start working on this hummingbird. Okay, so as you can see down here, this is lightened up quite a bit. So let me show you the card itself. And you can see here how much this one lightened up. And then I just took my paintbrush and some water and just tapped it like this and did some splattering to create these little splatter marks on the card. And so here is one before I got started, and then here was one afterward, and you can see some splatterings down here. I'd probably go through and try and put some more splatters up in this area so that it kind of matches better. But you can see how light they get. Now, this is one of the things that it does, is it really contorts with all the water that gets put into the paper. So you'll want to kind of work that to get it flat as you can, and then use a good amount of adhesive on it to get it to secure down smoothly. But I'll bring back the one we did that we were working on, and as you can see, these areas here, this is ink that all got pushed to the back of the card. And then, so to finish off this card, on the front, I just matted it onto Whisper White. I stamped in Blueberry Bushel on the die that matches with the Humming Along stamp set. And then wrapped it with the, I believe that is the 3/8 inch classic weave ribbon in Whisper White. And then now I'll show you how I did this portion here. I took an aqua painter, and again I have a stamped image here, and I started with the Balmy Blue and squeezed my ink pad, and I find if you put your thumbs on the bottom side it works better, and I'm not sure why. And then also a trick, if you have trouble getting it to open, take your thumbs and place them up at the top on this inside portion, not out here, but in here, and squeeze, and it'll pop open. And then slide it in. Oh, well, we're going to actually work in the tray, but I don't slide it in all the way. That way I've got a good grip to pull it back out, because these are definitely tighter than the old ones. So that's just another helpful hint. So I'm going to take the ink that's in here, and this is an aqua painter, and I want a lot of water. I don't want it to be, I want it to be a real watercolory. So as you can see, I'm putting in a lot of water, and I'm gonna just put that in and paint around my flower. And I'm not worrying about being inside the lines. In fact, I don't really want to be perfectly inside the lines. I want it out a little bit. So we'll do that. And then I'll go to my next color. Now this will lighten up quite a bit. So you do want to start a little bit brighter than you would otherwise think you want. Because it will lighten up. So now I'm going to bring in some of my Pacific Point. Down through there. Okay. Then I'll go to my Blueberry Bushel. Once again, I want to get some water going in there. And I just want to start just getting that inside area on that. And then maybe down my leaf and the stem. Just like that. And then finally, I'm going to get my Night of Navy out. Pick up just a little bit of that. I don't want a whole lot. And I'm going to tap that off and put it in the very center here. And then I want it on this piece here. I want that to be really deep. And then maybe this little guy down here real deep. Yeah. Maybe the stem. Okay, so just like that. And then I'm going to let that dry, and it will continue to lighten up. Do something about like these. Now this one's a little bit more intense, that one's a little bit lighter, but they will lighten up just a bit. So that's how you make the inside of the card. So again, here's the card using the faux bleach technique, and I just came back around and added some pearls here. I hope you enjoyed that, and join me again for another edition of Tippin' on Tuesday, and check out my blog at inkingitupwithcathy.com.